Okay, so here is drawing 21. I have already drawn the 3 views. As you can see, the front view, I have a line right here, and that line is from that corner, so make sure you include that. This counterbore right here tells you that the large hole, the counterbore, which is 1 1/16 diameter, so you're going to have to use your compass for that. That goes in 7/16. So the distance from here to here is 7/16. Distance from here to here is 7/16. Make sure you include the hidden line coming all the way through there on both the front and the top views right there. So that represents the part of that that you know that you can't see that, but it goes wraps right back around it. So make sure you include that right there as well. And then I also do this with 1.5 inches between views. So now we're going to start to dimension this, and according to the assignment I posted on there, you're going to use chain dimensioning. And if you remember drawing 20, that's used chain dimensioning, not baseline like we did on drawing 19. So we're going to use chain dimensioning on this, and also the unidirectional system, which is pretty typical. All that is where we can read them all from the bottom instead of having them turn sideways from the right side. And then additionally, this will be in decimal dimensions to 3 decimal places. So it's like you're going to dimension 1.000. Okay. This is drawing 21, so we're kind of getting it started on here. Unidirectional system. Now, kind of get started. I have some of these extension lines started. So I'm still going to work one direction at a time, like the width dimensions. I'm still going to start at one side, work my way over, because I kind of want to see where each thing is. If I come across here, this part that sticks up, I can see it here and I can see it here. I'm going to draw that on the front view because this shows the shape of that part. Here it's just blended in amongst this entire view right here, that line right there. So that would not be the best place to show it. I'm going to show it right here. And again, since this is the one nearest the object, it is to be placed 3/8 of an inch away from it. So if I get out my scale, I can measure here. 1, 2, 3/8 of an inch. And that is an inch, so it'd be 1.000. Get this lined up right here, the 2 holes with that little mark I just did in the center. .000. Now I can add my dimension line since I know how much space that's going to take up. Is that right there? I'm going to darken in these extension lines. Again, 1/16 from the object. From the object right there. Working way across, we're going to get to the center line for the hole. Now, if you remember, when you have a hole and you're showing where the center line is located, you're going to do that in the view that shows the actual circle. You do not dimension that in the view that shows the hidden lines from the side of the hole. So I'm going to dimension from right here to the center line right here. And the extension line, when it connects to a center line, there's no gap. It just comes right out. That's going to be 3/8 from the object. From the object right there. Alrighty. I'm going to use my lettering guide next. And that is 2 3/8, so it's 2.375. Oops. .375. All right, working way across, we get to this corner. So this corner right here, this really, the corner is shown here as well as here. We're going to want to dimension it in this view right here. Oh, you know, oh, I had that number wrong right there. I just noticed. I said 2.375. 2.375 was going to the corner. So this right here, 1 7/8. Whoa. Oopsie doopsie. One 7/8. Sorry about that. All right. So this is 2.375. Kind of got a limited space right here. So we're going to do something a little different. I'll show you what that is. Hopefully we have enough space here. Pull this down. So again, this shows the actual shape of this as that takes that. So you do not want to dimension here where there's just a line kind of floating. You don't know that's an angle really. That could be coming, you know, going in there 90 degrees for all you know. That's why you got to show it right here. So this is going to be a little different. So this should be half an inch. So this would be 0.500. Now, what's different about this compared to what you're used to, it's not so much that the arrows for this are on the outside. This and this, so each of those arrows are the dimension lines for this particular dimension. So those two are showing that that's a half an inch. Now this one is also for this 1 7/8. So this arrow right here is kind of doing double duty. It's kind of working for this dimension and it's working for that dimension. They both work. Now as we work our way over, we get to this center line right here. So this will also be used for this dimension, if that makes sense. This is chain dimensioning because it's all like one big chain going right across. Feeling I'm limited on space. I wonder how many of you, when I wrote this 2.375, I wonder how many of you at the time were like, no, that's wrong, Mr. Denning. I wonder how many of you caught that. Was that you? Did you? If you did, good job. All right, so 1.125. Looks like that should be correct. If I happen to make a mistake like that, make sure you put in the correct dimension, not the wrong one, if like I did originally. Okay. Now, the next thing we're going to do, we have the end of it. So again, you want to make sure you leave one space open right there and give the overall width. We can do that over here on the top view or the front view. It could be up to the top, down below, up top. I think the best spot, well, it's kind of up for debate here, honestly. You could put it right here for that, because this shows a shape right here nicely. But this also shows a shape of the object. So I think I'm going to put them right here. If you wanted to drop down a 1/4 inch from that dimension and place it right in here, that would be totally okay, and you can do that. But like I said, well, it's getting close to the bottom right there, isn't it? Like I said, I'm just going to put it down here on the bottom. I think that looks really nice right there. But feel free to put it up top if you want. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, nice arrows, about an 1/8 inch long, looking longer than they are tall. And the overall width is 4 1/4. So it's 4.250. I need to use my lettering guide. I was ready to write the numbers. I don't even have those 1/8 inch apart construction lines in yet. 4.250. And that is the overall width. Now working on the depth. Remember, this is the depth and this is the depth. They're both the depth. So we're going to dimension, on each of these views as necessary. This right here is this surface right here. Now, if we work our way across, or back, I should say, from here, the first one we hit is the center line for this circle. I'm going to bring it through here. I mean, that's not totally, ideal because of this, but you don't really have much of a choice, and you do not want to do it down here because this is where the hidden lines are. You want to do it in the view that shows the actual circles. So I'm going to connect with this. Going to measure 3/8 of an inch. I'll put in lines for the dimension. And put in the dimension line. Kind of a tight squeeze here, but I think it just barely works. And I'm going to darken in these dimension lines, knowing there's a chance they might end up being extended because of other dimensions, but for now, that's totally fine. And what is this dimension? So you got 1 7/16 from 1 1/8. Is that 11/16? Yep, I was right. 11/16. So 11/16. 12/16 is 0.750, so 0.6875. I'm going to 3 decimal places, so I'm putting 0.688, which is 11/16. And then working our way back, we hit the center line for the counter bore. I'm not showing it in the top view though. I'm going to show it over here because this is where the actual circle is. I'm going to extend this center line up. I'm going to measure, find the correct scale. 1, 2, 3, 3/8. That's in the middle. And then, where am I looking? It's going to be 1 1/16. Yep, 1.063. It's actually 1.0625, but we're going to 3 decimal places, so I'm going to do 1.063. Get the dimension line put in. And then I'm going to darken in the extension lines. 1/8 inch past. 16th from the object, 1/8 inch past. There. Working our way across. Next one we hit is the other circle center line. Just like this one, we're going to do it right here, and it's chain dimensioning, so I'm going to pull this one over and put the dimension right there. It's lined up with this one. Did I leave enough space there? I did. I think it's 13/16. Yep. 13/16. 0.813. Which is 0.8125. But again, 3 decimal places, we're doing 0.813. Looking good. Keep working our way back. The back side of the object, we hit the back of it. We have to show the overall size of it now. This shows a nice shape here compared to this view. So I'm going to show the overall depth right over here, 1/4 inch away from those. So it'll be tucked in really nice and clean. And you have to keep in mind these other dimensions here. So I'm going to put it slightly off center to the top. Darken in my extension lines. 16th from the object. 1/8 inch past. And according to the drawing, our overall depth is 2 1/8, so it's 2.125. Now, if you wanted, if you weren't sure as far as how much spacing you had coming across, you could start at the end, 521.2. You know, start at the right and work left if you wanted. Nothing wrong with that. 0.125, there's our overall depth. So we have the width done, we have the depth done, now we have to work on the height. This should be pretty quick. Just 1, 2, 3 dimensions on this one. First one is this part right here. And you may have guessed it, but we're going to show it right here because this shows the profile, the shape of the object, whereas this is just a line amongst, a rectangle amongst another shape. So I'm going to place this dimension right here. I'm going to go 3/8 of an inch away from the object because that's the one nearest the object. I'm going to jump over here and put in these lines. Ooh, a little wiggly. Put in these lines for this dimension just to make sure I have enough space for my dimension line. Because if I didn't, I would have to place my arrows on the outside pointing in. I think I can squeeze these in though. I've done it with smaller gaps. And don't, cram something if there's not enough space there. Don't push it. And this distance, according to the handout, is 0.6875, which is 11/16. So we're going to do 0.688. I can darken in my extension lines. And then working our way up, we get to the center line of the counter bore. So just like I mentioned before, you dimension it in the view that shows the actual circles, not the view over here. So I am going to place it right on this right-hand side because I might need to use this space for the leader. Remember, you got to think ahead. You got to think about other future dimensions. Arrows in. Now I can darken those extension lines. Might be moving a little fast here, so of course that's what makes it nice that it's a video. You need to pause it, rewind it, whatever you have to do. Alrighty, let's just check this out. One and 7/16, I believe. Check the math on that. That looks like that's right. Yep. So 1.4375. So 1.438, because we're going to 3 decimal places. So 1.4375 is 1.438, 1 and 7/16. Now working our way up. The last one we have is the overall height. I'm going to place this nestled on this left side right here because, again, this shows the shape and profile of the object nicer than what the right side view does. So that is 3/8 of an inch away. 1, 2, 3/8 right there. I already kind of have my extension lines drawn in lightly. Triangle shifted on me there. So if that happens to you, I'll show you what you can do. It's what your lettering or your erasing shield is for. Place it on there, nice little opening. So you can erase just that little spot. Nice and easy. Alrighty, let's get these lines in here. We're getting close to being done. We're not finished after this one because we do have some leaders to put in. But the overall height is 2 1/4. So it's going to be 2.4 2.250. 2.250, 2 1/4. Darken in the extension lines, 16th gap from the object, 1/8 inch past. 16th inch gap from the object, 1/8 past. So we have our width done, we have our depth done, and we have our height done. The last thing we got to do is show the size of this. Oh, this would be a good spot right in here for the counter bore, as well as the holes. But then we got to put in this arc right here for the angle, and that is a 30-degree angle. Now, if I can find my compass, I'm going to draw this in. Boy, that's pushing it. Not a lot of space right there. So here's what I'm going to do. Oh. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to change this up. You might come across something like this as well. Let's fix this. Put the point back. I shouldn't have made that. Much, much, much nicer. Boy, it bothers me how I can see that. All right, so 16th inch gap. Zip this right across, 1/8 inch past that line, the arc I just drew. Get my head out of the way here. Now, put in the arrows. I'm going to use my lettering guide. Put in this 30-degree angle. And that's a dimension that some people may have missed. Got to look out for that. What we could have done, we also could have located this point right here. So if we would have located this point like we did, and if we would have located this point, we would not have had to give that angle. But by locating this point and giving this angle, we do not need to show where this point is located right here. So you don't want to over dimension it. So because we showed that angle and that point, it would not be correct to add this dimension in there. That would be over dimensioning. You don't want to over dimension. So keep that in mind. So we have the angle, we have the height, width, and depth. Now we just need to do those circles. This one over here, gonna line it up. Should be okay right there. Just barely misses that corner. You want to make sure you miss that corner. So again, 30, 45, or 60 has to line up with the center. Because I have a little short 1/8 inch shoulder. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to do a 60-degree here. So I have a little more space. Line this up with the center. And for a counter bore, the leader touches the larger circle on the outside. Larger circle on the outside. They are circles, so the leader is on the outside pointing in. Put in that short shoulder. Now for the counter bore, I'm going to have 2 lines of text on this. Put in this first one. I'm going to jump down, make sure there's a space between them. As far as how much of a space, just make it look nice. Come over here and do this. So, have this on a 60-degree angle, ready to dimension. This on a 30-degree angle, ready to dimension. And for this one, it's a diameter 0.625 with 2 holes. So you can do 2 times diameter 0.625, You can do diameter 0.625 times 2. You can do the diameter symbol. You can write DIA. You can write diameter 0.625 and on a new line, 2 holes. Lots of options. Whatever's best for you. So I'm going to do the diameter symbol. You don't have to do this exact same way that I do, as long as you do it correct and you have all the information that's needed. So I'm writing the diameter symbol, 0.625, then times 2. Times 2 because there's 2 holes. Now time to the counter bore. Now the counter bore, the first one you want to do is the small circle, the small hole like that's drilled all the way through. And for that one, it is a diameter 0.625. Now on this, since this small hole right here, this one right here goes all the way through it, you do not need to write what the depth of that is. You can write through, like the handout shows, THRU. That would be fine to do, but just so you know, with a hole, if it does not say the depth of the hole, it's assumed it goes all the way through, okay? So if it does not show the depth, it's assumed it goes all the way through. So I put the diameter 0.625 of the small hole. Now I'm going to put down the counter bore. You can write CBORE, the abbreviation for counter bore, or you can do the symbol, which is this like U-shaped 90-degree bracket right there. So that's a counter bore, 1.063. Then the depth of it is specified. So I'm going to do the depth symbol, or you can write depth, but it's just like a T with a down arrow. That's going to be 0.438. So it's actually 0.4375, which is 7/16. But we got to stay consistent with 3 decimal places. So I wrote 0.438, just like I wrote 1.063 instead of 1.0625. Okay, so I have those holes dimensioned. I have the angle dimension. I have the counter bore dimensioned. Height, width, and the depth is done. I believe we're all set here. So this is drawing 21. Let me know if you have any questions on this, and best of luck to you.